January 28, 1943, 2 a.m. St. Pancras Coroner's Court, London. The room smells of formaldehyde, damp stone, and the metallic tang of old blood. It is a place for the dead, a cold storage for the city's forgotten souls. But tonight, two living men are standing over a stainless steel slab, looking down at a corpse that is about to change the course of the Second World War. The men are Ewen Montagu, a brilliant, sharp-witted naval intelligence officer, and Charles Cholmondeley, a tall, eccentric flight lieutenant with a mind like a maze. They aren't looking for a cause of death, they are looking for a recruit. The body on the table belongs to Glyndwr Michael. In life, he was a homeless laborer from Wales, a tragic figure who drifted into London, ate rat poison, perhaps by accident, perhaps not, and died alone in a warehouse. He had no family, he had no money, he had no future. But Montagu and Cholmondeley are about to give him a second life. To understand why these two intelligence officers are bargaining for a body in the middle of the night, you have to look at the map of Europe. It is 1943. The Allies have won in North Africa, the Americans are ready, the British are ready. The next logical step is obvious to everyone with a pair of eyes: Sicily. It is the stepping stone to Italy. It is the soft underbelly of the Axis. And that is the problem. It is too obvious. Winston Churchill famously said, "Anybody but a fool knows it is Sicily," and Adolf Hitler is many things, but he is not a military fool. The Germans are already pouring concrete into the Sicilian coast. They are moving panzer divisions. They are fortifying the beaches. If the Allies land there as expected, it won't be a liberation. It will be a slaughter on the scale of the Somme. The British need a miracle. They need the Germans to look away. They need Hitler to believe, against all logic, that the Allies are going to attack somewhere else entirely. Greece, Sardinia, anywhere but Sicily. But you cannot just leak a rumor. Hitler is paranoid. He needs proof. He needs documents. He needs to steal the plans from a high-ranking British officer. But a high-ranking officer would never carry top-secret invasion plans into enemy territory. And if his plane crashed, the body would be destroyed. This was the impossible riddle that kept British intelligence awake for months, until Cholmondeley remembered an old idea from the Trout Memo, a list of deceptions once brainstormed by Ian Fleming, the man who would go on to write James Bond. Item 28 on that list was simple and gruesome. A corpse, dressed as an airman, carrying false papers, dropped where the current will wash him ashore. It sounded like fiction. It sounded insane. But standing in the freezing morgue, looking at the body of Glyndwr Michael, Montagu realizes it is their only option. The pneumonia in the man's lungs will look like drowning. The timing is perfect. They seal the deal. They take custody of the body. They pack him in ice. Glyndwr Michael is dead. In his place, they are about to birth Major William Martin of the Royal Marines, a man who loves the theater, has an overdraft at the bank, and carries the most dangerous secrets of the war in his briefcase. They have the body. Now they have to invent the soul.
February 1943, Room 13, the Admiralty Basement, London. The body is on ice, but the real work is happening at a cluttered desk under the hum of a ventilation fan. Montagu and Cholmondeley are playing God. They know the German intelligence officers are thorough. They are suspicious. If a body washes up with nothing but top-secret plans in his pocket, they will spot the plant immediately. Real people don't just carry secrets, they carry life. They carry receipts, loose change, keys, and reminders of the people who love them. In the trade, this is called pocket litter. And for Major William Martin to fool the Nazis, his pockets have to tell a story so convincing that it breaks the heart of the man who searches him. Montagu goes to work. He creates a personality for the dead man. Major Martin is a bit careless, perhaps a gambler. So they put an angry letter from Lloyd's Bank in his pocket, demanding payment for an overdraft of £79. He likes the high life. So they add a receipt for a diamond engagement ring and ticket stubs from a theater show in London just 4 days prior. But the masterstroke is Pam. Every soldier has a girl back home. Montagu asks a young secretary at the MI5 office, Jean Leslie, for a photo. She gives him a picture of herself in a swimming costume, smiling by the river. It is the perfect image of British innocence. On the back they write, "Till death us do part, your loving Pam." They write love letters, passionate, slightly desperate letters from a fiancée terrified that her Bill is going overseas. They fold them and unfold them dozens of times to make them look read and reread. They want the German spy who opens this wallet to feel like a voyeur, intruding on a private tragedy. Once the man is created, they need the weapon. This is the document that will win the war. It cannot be an official invasion plan of Greece. That looks too planted. Instead, they draft a casual, private letter from Vice Chief of the Imperial General Staff, Sir Archibald Nye, to General Alexander in Tunisia. It is a masterpiece of reverse psychology. In the letter, the general casually discusses the Allied plans. He jokes about the cover operation in Sicily. He explicitly states that the real attacks are aimed at Greece and Sardinia. He writes it as if he is whispering a secret to a friend, complaining about logistics and rations. It is the lie wrapped in the truth. Montagu takes the letter and does something remarkably subtle. He places a single human eyelash deep inside the fold of the paper. If the Germans open it and then reseal it to make it look untouched, the eyelash will fall out. It is the ultimate tamper seal. Now comes the physical grimness. The corpse of Glyndwr Michael is thawed out in a secure room. The smell is faint but undeniable. Montagu and Cholmondeley have to dress him. It is a wrestling match with the dead. Rigor mortis has made the feet stiff and swollen. They struggle to pull the Royal Marine boots onto the frozen ankles. They fasten the buttons of the trench coat with numb fingers. Finally, they secure a black attaché case to him. They don't handcuff it to his wrist. That's too Hollywood, too desperate. A courier would keep it on a leather chain attached to his belt. By mid-April, Major William Martin is ready. He is placed inside a specially designed steel canister filled with dry ice to slow decomposition. It looks like a propane tank. Montagu and Cholmondeley load the canister into the back of a van. They don't have a military escort. They don't have sirens. It is just two men driving through the blacked-out streets of London, heading north to Scotland, carrying a dead homeless man who is about to go to war against the entire Third Reich.
April 19th, 1943, 04:15 a.m. Aboard HMS Seraph, Gulf of Cadiz. The submarine HMS Seraph is running on the surface, a dark sliver of steel cutting through the Atlantic swell. The Spanish coast is a faint jagged line on the horizon. The captain, Lieutenant Bill Jewell, has ordered his crew below decks. Only the officers remain topside. The official log says they are deploying a top-secret meteorological device. The truth is far stranger. The steel canister is hauled up through the conning tower hatch. It is heavy, sweating with condensation. The officers work quickly, their breath misting in the salt air. The tension is palpable. If a Spanish patrol boat spots them now, the game is over. If the body sinks, the game is over. If the canister jams, the game is over. Jewell unbolts the lid. The dry ice vapor hisses as it hits the humid night air. They pulled Major William Martin out of his steel coffin. He is stiff, cold, and utterly passive. The trench coat flaps in the wind. Montagu had worried about the decomposition, but the cold has held. He looks exactly like what he is supposed to be, a victim of a plane crash at sea, drifting for days. The officers gather around the rail. There is no prayer, no salute, just the quiet professionalism of men doing a grim job. Jewell checks the life jacket, an authentic Mae West, to ensure it is inflated. He checks the chain securing the briefcase to the belt. Then they gently slide him over the side. The body splashes into the dark water. For a terrifying second, it bobs awkwardly face down. Then the current catches it. The life jacket does its work. Major Martin begins to drift, moving steadily toward the lights of Huelva. But Montagu's plan has one final brilliant layer of detail. To make the crash convincing, you need wreckage. You can't just have a man floating alone. Jules orders a rubber dinghy inflated and tossed overboard. It is placed upside down, drifting near the body, suggesting a failed attempt to survive. With the cargo delivered, the Seraph turns its bow toward the open ocean. The engines rumble, and the submarine slips beneath the waves, leaving the dead man alone in the vast Atlantic. Now the British are powerless. The operation, codenamed Mincemeat, is out of their hands. They are relying on the tides, the wind, and the unpredictable nature of human curiosity. They need a fisherman to find him. But not just any fisherman. They need one who will hand the body over to the Spanish authorities. And they need the Spanish authorities, who are ostensibly neutral but riddled with Nazi sympathizers, to notify the local German agent. It is a chain of ifs, so fragile that it seems destined to break. Back in London, Montagu waits by the secure phone. Every hour of silence is agony. Has the body sunk? Has it washed up on a deserted rock? Has a local thief stolen the briefcase and thrown the papers away? 5 days pass. Silence. Then, a coded telegram arrives from the naval attaché in Madrid. It contains the words they have been praying for. Mincemeat, swallowed rod, line, and sinker. The body has been found. But the real question remains, did the Germans read the mail?
April 30, 1943. Huelva, Spain. The sun is beating down on the whitewashed walls of the Spanish naval office, but inside the local morgue, the air is cool and stagnant. The Spanish doctors are conducting an autopsy on the man the local sardine fisherman pulled from the sea. This is the moment where the entire deception hangs by a thread. Montagu had consulted with the greatest pathologists in Britain, Sir Bernard Spilsbury. What happens, Montagu had asked, if they do a full autopsy? Spilsbury had been blunt. If they look closely at the lungs, they will see he died of chemical poisoning, not drowning. But most Spanish doctors in a provincial town won't look that closely. They hate the smell. He was right. The Spanish doctors, overwhelmed by the stench of decomposition, which has accelerated rapidly in the warm Mediterranean water, are quick. They see a man in a uniform. They see the ID card, Major Martin. They see the liquid in the lungs. They rule it asphyxiation by immersion, drowning. They hand the body over for burial. Major William Martin is laid to rest in the Huelva cemetery with full military honors. The British vice consul, playing his part perfectly, even places a wreath on the grave with a card from Pam. But while the body is buried, the briefcase is not. It sits in a safe in the Spanish naval headquarters. And circling it, like a shark, is Adolf Klaus. Klaus is the German Abwehr, military intelligence agent in Huelva. He is efficient, well-connected, and notoriously effective. He hears rumors of a British officer washing ashore with a black case. He knows the British are desperate to get it back. The vice consul is making a frantic scene, demanding the return of the personal effects unopened. This panic, all staged by Montagu, convinces Klaus that the case contains gold. He activates his network. He bribes Spanish officials. He exerts diplomatic pressure. He needs to see what is inside that case. Finally, the Spanish relent. In a secret room in Madrid, Spanish officers carefully, surgically dry out the wet paper. They use thin probes to wind the damp sheets out of the envelopes without breaking the wax seals. They photograph every page, the letter from Pam, the overdraft notice, and crucially, the letter from General Nye about the invasion of Greece. Within hours, the photographs are in a diplomatic pouch heading for Berlin. In London, the briefcase is eventually returned to the British, officially unopened. Montagu and his team receive the package with trembling hands. They take it to the forensic lab. They hold their breath as the technician examines the envelopes. The wax seals are intact. To the naked eye, it looks perfect. But then the technician pulls out his microscope. He looks at the fold of the general's letter. He looks for the tiny, single eyelash Montagu had planted weeks ago. It's gone. The room erupts. There are no cheers, just a collective exhale of relief that sounds like a sob. The eyelash is missing. The letters have been dried. The Germans have read the mail. The virus has been injected into the bloodstream of the Third Reich. Now, they just have to wait for the patient to get sick.
May 12, 1943. The Reich Chancellery, Berlin. The diplomatic pouch arrives in the heart of the Nazi capital. The photographs of the letters found on the dead airmen are placed on the desk of Lieutenant Colonel Baron Alexis von Rönne. Von Rönne is a master of intelligence analysis. He is the head of Fremde Heer West, Foreign Armies West. It is his job to sniff out lies. He is the filter through which all Allied deception must pass before it reaches the Führer. He studies the letters. He looks at the casual tone of the British generals. He looks at the overdraft slip. He looks at the photo of Pam. He looks at the medical report from the Spanish doctors, and he stamps it genuine. Historians still debate whether von Rönne was fooled or if he was a secret anti-Nazi saboteur who knowingly passed the lie to hurt Hitler. But the result is the same. The file travels up the chain of command, finally landing in the hands of Adolf Hitler. For months, Hitler has been staring at the map of the Mediterranean, consumed by anxiety. His intuition has always told him the Balkans were vulnerable. He has always feared an attack on Greece. Now, finally, he has the confirmation he was looking for. The documents confirm his own bias. The trap snaps shut. On May 12th, Hitler issues a directive that defies all military logic. He writes, "Measures regarding Sardinia and the Peloponnese take precedence over everything else." The order goes out over the teleprinters. Across Europe, the German war machine begins to grind into reverse. It is a logistical earthquake. The 1st Panzer Division, a crack unit of battle-hardened veterans, is ordered to move. They travel all the way from France, across the continent, to the foot of Greece. They rattle through the streets of Athens, setting up defensive positions on beaches where no Allied soldier will ever set foot. Hitler is so convinced that he sends his greatest general, Field Marshal Ewen Rommel, the Desert Fox, to Athens to command the defense. Meanwhile, on the island of Sicily, the German commanders are bewildered. They are crying out for reinforcements. They point to the gathering Allied fleet in North Africa. They scream that Sicily is the target. But Berlin ignores them. They are told it is a feint. The real attack is coming in Greece. Thousands of miles of coastline are being fortified against ghosts. The Luftwaffe moves its fighter wings to Sardinia. Torpedo boats are redeployed to the Aegean. And in Sicily, the beaches are left waiting. The massive Panzer reserves that should have been hiding in the Sicilian hills, ready to push the Allies back into the sea, are now sitting idly in the shadow of the Acropolis, watching the empty blue horizon. July 10th, 1943. Dawn. The coast of Sicily. The Mediterranean is churning. A storm has battered the fleet all night, making the soldiers seasick and miserable. But as the sun breaks over the horizon, the wind dies down to reveal the most terrifying sight in naval history. 2,590 ships. It is the largest amphibious landing the world has ever seen, larger even than D-Day will be a year later. 160,000 Allied troops are barreling toward the beaches of Sicily. In the landing craft, young men grip their rifles, praying. They have been briefed to expect a wall of fire. They expect panzers on the ridge lines. They expect the Luftwaffe to black out the sky. But as the ramps drop and the boots hit the sand, something strange happens. There is resistance, yes. There is machine gun fire. There are mines. But the crushing, overwhelming hammer blow of the German armored divisions never comes. The beaches are taken. The airfields are captured. Syracuse falls. Hundreds of miles away, in Athens, Field Marshal Rommel stands on the coast, scanning the horizon with his binoculars. He is waiting for the invasion fleet. He is waiting for the fight of his life. But the horizon is empty. Slowly, the sickening realization dawns on the German high command. The radio reports from Sicily are frantic. The enemy is here in force. Where are the reinforcements? But the reinforcements, the crack 1st Panzer Division, the heavy artillery, the torpedo boats, are useless. They are stranded in Greece, separated from the real battle by miles of ocean and rugged terrain. They cannot just turn around. Moving a Panzer Division takes weeks. They have been checkmated by a dead man. By the time Berlin accepts the truth, it is too late. The Allies have a foothold in Europe. The soft underbelly has been ripped open. The casualties, while heavy, are a fraction of the bloodbath the planners had feared. Thousands of American and British soldiers who should have died on those beaches are alive, marching inland, completely unaware that they owe their survival to a homeless Welshman and a stolen eyelash.